I used to think I could spreadsheet my way to a perfect life. I truly believed that. If I just thought hard enough, I could run every possible scenario in my head, dodge every failure, and guarantee success. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. I spent years in a state of analysis paralysis, and it cost me. Cost me my opportunities, time, and it almost cost me my dream. This is the story of how my own brain held me hostage, and the steps I took to finally break out of jail. The problem and the false promises. My personal Super Bowl of overthinking was a 2-year period where I was planning a major career change. From the outside, I looked diligent. I had spreadsheets comparing career paths. I had pros and cons lists so long they needed their own pros and cons lists. I was an expert on everything except the one thing that mattered: doing something. To my friends, I was thoughtful, cautious. In reality, I was just terrified. Overthinking became my favorite hiding spot. It felt productive, like I was moving forward, but my feet were stuck in concrete. The perfect plan was a mirage that kept shifting every time I got close. A new variable, a new potential problem, and proof the goalpost moved again. This is the great scam of overthinking. It promises control but delivers chaos. It pretends to be a tool for smart decisions, but research shows it actually cripples you. Psychologist Barry Schwartz called this paradox of choice. The more options you have, the more you analyze them, and the more anxious and paralyzed you feel. And it doesn't just stall your life. It's a mental treadmill. You are burning a massive amount of energy, but you are not going anywhere. That endless cycle of worry is directly linked to anxiety and depression. I wasn't just stuck, I was making myself miserable, replaying greatest hits of my past mistake and creating catastrophic fanfiction about a future that hadn't even happened. Overthinking can't build your confidence. It can't guarantee a perfect outcome, and it can't create opportunities. It can only keep you in the exact same spot, dreaming of a future you are too scared to build. The turning point and the realization. My big aha moment wasn't some dramatic epiphany. It was quite pathetic. It was staring at my giant pile of sticky notes and my intricate mind maps for a business I spent 2 years planning. And I realized a horrifying fact. I hadn't made a single dollar. I hadn't helped a single person. All I had was a very detailed color-coded fantasy. In that moment, I started overthinking for what it really is. The world's most sophisticated form of procrastination. It is fear in a business suit, carrying a briefcase full of what-ifs. Fear of failing, fear of looking stupid, fear of making the wrong choice. My brain, trying to protect me from phantom dangers, had locked me in an endless loop of thinking. And then the big secret, the one all productive, non-miserable people seem to know, finally clicked. Clarity doesn't come from thinking. Clarity comes from doing. You cannot think your way into new life. You cannot research your way into confidence. You have to act. You have to do the thing. get a feedback from the real world, and adjust. I would be trying to solve a puzzle in my head when all pieces were sitting right in front of me, waiting to be picked up. This didn't magically fix everything, but it gave me a new mission. It was time to stop thinking and start doing. How I actually escaped my own brain. Breaking free felt like trying to unlearn how to breathe. The habit was that deep. But I clawed my way out by focusing on a few practical, no-nonsense steps that completely rewired how I approach everything. Step 1. Embrace imperfect action. Perfectionism was my drug of choice. It drove my paralysis because I was always waiting to feel 100% ready. Here's the spoiler, you will never feel 100% ready, so I adopted a new rule. Imperfect action. The goal isn't to be perfect. Instead of launching the whole business, I asked, what is the small, messiest step I can take right now? For me was emailing 5 people I knew and offering my services for free. My brain screamed at me like a toddler in a supermarket. It's not ready. You do not have a website. What if they hate it? I did it anyway. 3 of them replied. 1 became my first paying client. That one sloppy, imperfect action gave me more confidence and clarity than 2 years of perfect planning. Progress, not perfection, is the only thing that matters. An 80% finished project out in the world is infinitely better than a 100% perfect idea locked in your head. Step 2. Set a decision deadline. My next trick was weaponize time against my own brain. Overthinking will expand to fill whatever time you give it. Give yourself a week to decide. It will take you a week. Give yourself an hour, and you'll often make the exact same choice, just without the extra agony. I started setting aggressive decision deadlines for small stuff. I used the 2-minute rule. If I take less than 2 minutes to decide, I do it on the spot. For the bigger decision, I would set a timer, maybe 30 minutes, to gather info. When the timer went off, I had to make a call. The first few times were torture. My brain craved more data like a zombie craves brains, but I stuck with it. And the funny thing happened. I realized my gut decision was almost always the one I landed on anyway. Setting a deadline forces you to trust your own judgment with the information you have. Step 3. Focus on the next right step. Overthinkers live life in a terrifying way. 10-year periods. It's a hellscape. You are not thinking about sending one email. You are thinking about entire 10-year arc of your career because you had a typo in your email. It's a recipe for total paralysis. The solution is to shrink your focus dramatically. Don't worry about the whole staircase. Just find the next step. I would literally ask myself out loud, what is the very next physical action I can take? Not the grand strategy, just what is the next? The answer was usually laughably simple. Open the laptop, write one sentence, find the phone number. This breaks the anxiety cycle by making mission feel possible. It's like driving in a dense fog. You can see your destination 50 miles away. You can't see your destination 50 miles away. You can see in 10 feet away. By focusing on that little patch of road, you eventually finish the whole journey. One small step creates momentum, and momentum ultimately killer of the overthinking. Conclusion. Looking back, the person who spent 2 years planning in a dark room feels like a complete stranger in my life. My life isn't lived in my head anymore. It is out here, in the messy, unpredictable, and much more interesting real world. I still think, but I don't get trapped. I have learned that overthinking doesn't protect you from failure. It just protects you from living. It promises safety but only delivers regret. Freedom came from three simple ideas. Embrace imperfect action, set decision deadline, and always just focus on the next right step. These aren't magic tricks, they are muscles. The more you use them, the stronger they get, and the weaker the chokehold of overthinking becomes. You can break free, and it doesn't start with having all the answers. It starts with taking one small step, even if you are terrified. So here's the challenge. Don't just let this another piece of content you consume. Let's put it into imperfect action. In a comment below, tell me one small, messy, imperfect step you are going to take today on something you have been overthinking. Your future self is waiting.